Hello guys, you are welcome again to another After Effects tutorials. Today I want to show you how to create a dynamic 3D ball animation in Adobe After Effects without the use of any external plugin. So support me on this one. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification. Then come back, let's get started. Back into After Effects, create a new composition. We're going to name this ball. Feel free to give it your own name. I'm going to leave it to 1920 by 1080 for the pixel. Choose your frame rate. Then you can make this as long as you want, but I'm going to make this 6 seconds. And then hit OK. Now, right click on your timeline. Go to New and create a new solid. This is going to be the texture of our 3D ball. So at this point, you are free to use either a flag color, whatever color you want to use, or even an image directly. So I'm just gonna leave this and then hit OK. Then I'll add a fill effect so that I'll have a control over the color. Switch this to effect and control so that I will see the option to change all the colors. I'll be duplicating in a moment. So I'll Control D on this one and change this to bright yellow. And then hit OK. Then I'll hit P on my keyboard to reveal the position property. Then I'm gonna shift it down a bit on the y-axis. So I'll Control D on my keyboard to duplicate it one more time. And then change the color to somewhat blue. And then hit OK. I'll still hit P on the keyboard to reveal it, the position, so that I can move it downward to about this point. Feel free to make your adjustment and your colors the way you want it. It is not written on stone. Like I said, you can use a flag for this. Beautiful. So now we're going to create a new composition and name this main. 6 seconds is still OK, and then hit OK. So I'm going to right click again on my timeline and create a new solid layer. This is going to be our BG. You can copy from the other composition to this composition, but I'm going to simply create this and name this BG. And then hit OK. I'm going to also add a fill layer. Change my colors. And then hit OK. So I'm going to switch this to the project manager window so that I can see the first composition, the ball composition I created. I will drag and drop it into the composition. Voila, this is what we have. For now, this is still very flat, so let's make it a 3D ball. Select the composition, then add a CC sphere. Now, we're going to make some changes to this, but if you want your 3D to have a light and a shade, of course, that is going to take a longer time to animate the ball and also create a shadow for it. But for this composition, I'm going to show you a simple flat settings that works everywhere. I have seen this in many explainer videos, and that is why I have decided to show you how to do this, because it is very helpful if you know how to use this particular method to create a dynamic 3D bouncing animation. So now I'm going to switch this to effect and controls so that I can make some changes to the CC sphere effect. Expand the light section of the CC sphere and make the light height to 100. Then expand the shading, make specular 0, and make ambient 100. So this setting is going to completely eliminate the shades you have around the logo. So you can always go into the ball composition and change your color if you want to. So one more settings I'm going to adjust here is to adjust the radius to 100. I will then move the anchor point to the bottom of the ball. Hit Y on your keyboard to activate the anchor tool. You see that as you are moving the anchor point, the ball is following. This is not going to work for one reason, because it becomes a 3D layer. So moving the anchor point is difficult. So what you need to do is to make sure on the effects and control panel right here, the effect itself is not selected. So that way it will now allow you to move the anchor point freely. Now it is time to set up our scene. So select the pen tool and then make sure no layer is selected. We're going to create a fake plane for it to roll on. So I will just create a simple shape like this. So after you create this, make sure you adjust it to be perfect, as close as it can. So we just created a fake 3D plane perspective as if that is coming from a distance. I'll move this below the ball composition. To complete the remaining part of our scene, I'm going to select the BG layer and Ctrl D on my keyboard to duplicate it. I will change the color. Just feel free to select any color you want. I'll hit OK. I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to right click on the timeline and create a new text layer. So let's hide the ball layer so that we can see what we are doing. I'll hide the ball and the plane layer. This is what we have at the moment. So I'm going to select the text and move it right below the duplicated BG layer. Select both of them and make it a 3D layer. Then I'm going to make the text layer the child of the solid layer. Then I will hit R on my keyboard to rotate it on the X axis. I'll hit P on my keyboard to reveal the position. I want to take this down. At this point, you can reveal the rest of the layer so that you can see what your setup is like. Beautiful. So I'm going to scale this down a bit. So what I'm going to do now is to select the BG layer and the text layer and duplicate it randomly, and then shift it to left and right, then change the colors as well. Now select your ball layer. If you go into the effects rotation right here, you rotate the X-axis, you will see that the ball is rotating like a 3D ball, even though it's flat. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is to move my time indicator to about 3 seconds forward in time. I'll set a keyframe for the rotation on the X-axis and change this to -3, and this will give us this. So I will also hit P on my keyboard while the composition is still selected to reveal the position property. I'll set a keyframe for the position. Then I'll hold Shift down to hit S to reveal the scale position while still keeping the keyframe open. I'll set a keyframe for the scale. So if you hit U, it will reveal all there is on the keyframe. So I will move back like this to 0. I will change the scale to 50. Then I will move the position upward. What we are trying to do here is to just fake a 3D movement on the ball. So I will change the rotation on the X-axis to 0. So if you scrub on the timeline now, you see that the ball is already rolling to this point. Beautiful. I'll move my time indicator slightly to forward in time like this. I will change the position again. So I want it to slow down at this point as if it wants to fall on the edges of the step. Then I'll also rotate this a bit. You see, when it comes, it slows down at this point. Beautiful. So I'll just move slightly to this point right here. If you want to know more about how to bounce a ball, you can check my tutorial on the card above. Though that is a 2D ball, but it's also applicable on the bouncing animation I'm going to do right now. So I will move down there and shift the position to hit the floor where the B is. Beautiful. So I'll also move up, forward in time and animate the position up and down. That is what I'm just gonna do. I'll just copy this last keyframe where it hits the floor, Ctrl C, and then paste it forward. Then I'll move back again and then animate the position slightly like this. Then I'll move forward in time right here where it will still hit the floor. Then I'll move forward, it will slowly roll off the edge again. I'll just animate the position of the screen. So if you preview this now, this is what you're gonna have. Beautiful. So we're going to add life to it now by just adjusting the keyframe and ease some of this keyframe. But first, I'm going to add some rotation to when it is bouncing. So let's quickly do that. So I'll move here and move to the next keyframe by using this arrow to go to the next keyframe on the position. Then I'll just slightly alter the rotation of the ball. Feel free to rotate it on whatever axis you want at this point, but I'm going to retain the x-axis. I'll just be moving it on the negative and the positive values. And this is what you have. You can see the dynamism on the ball is a 3D ball, but yet everything is flat and it's simulating the 3D. It bounces on this. So if I just adjust the keyframe, the distance between two keyframes, like I told you, if you watch the bouncing ball tutorial, that will explain in detail. I'm just going to do that so that I'll come out with the result. Yes, what I did was just to offset the keyframes, the distance between each keyframe. Then I animated the solid layer here by cutting it. If you look at my timeline right here, you see how I cut them at each point that it hits the floor. The color changes, so I just duplicated it, then cut that and change the color with the fill color already applied to the solid layer. I also change the text. So this is very handy, and you can explore your creativity to create amazing 3D explainer video using this kind of animation. I have seen it in several animation on the internet, so that is why I think many people, because at the time I didn't know that we can create a 3D dynamic ball like this in Adobe After Effects. If you learned something new on this video, please hit the like button. That will enable the algorithm to suggest this to more people. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me in the comment section, and I'll reply to all questions as quick as I can. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can support me in any way. You can give me super thanks, subscribe to my membership, whatever way you want to support me with. Even if you share the video, that is also a huge support and it is highly appreciated. If you like the video, leaving a comment is all a support. So in whatever way you are able to support me, I highly appreciate you. So until I see you again on the next one, my name is SSB Otaru from MotionDigit Studios.